this beautiful poem by George Meredith, The Lark Ascending.
He rises and begins to round. He drops a silver chain of sound of many links without a break, in chirrup, whistle, slur and shake, all intervolved and spreading wide like water dimples down a tide, where ripple, ripple over curls and eddy into eddy whirls. A press of hurried notes that run so fleet they scarce are more than one, yet changingly the trills repeat and linger ringing while they fleet. Sweet to the quick of the ear, and dear to her beyond the handmaid ear, who sits beside our inner springs, too often dry for this he brings, which seems the very jet of earth, at sight of sun her music's mirth, as up he wings a spiral stair, a song of light, and pierces air, with fountain ardour, fountain play, to reach the shining tops of day, and drink in everything discerned an ecstasy to music turned. Impelled by what his happy bill disperses drinking, showering still, unthinking save that he may give his voice the outlet there to live, renewed in endless notes of glee, so thirsty of his voice is he, for all to hear and all to know that he is joy awake aglow. The tumult of the heart to hear, through pureness filtered crystal clear, and know the pleasure sprinkled bright by simple singing of delight. Shrill, irreflective, unrestrained, rapt ringing on the jet sustained, without a break, without a fall, sweet, silvery, sheer, lyrical, perennial quavering up the chord, like myriad dunes of sunny sward, that trembling into fullness shine, and sparkle dropping argentine. Such wooing as the ear receives from zephyr caught in choric leaves of aspens, when their chattering net is flushed to white with shivers wet, and such the water spirits chime on mountain heights in morning's prime, too freshly sweet to seem excess, too animate to need a stress, but wider over many heads the starry voice ascending spreads, awakening as it waxes thin the best in us to him akin, and every face to watch him raise puts on the light of children praised. So rich our human pleasure ripes, when sweetness on sincereness pipes. Though naught be promised from the seas, but only a soft ruffling breeze, sweep glittering on a still content, serenity in ravishment. For singing till his heaven fills, 'tis love of earth that he instills, and ever winging up and up, our valley is his golden cup, and he the wine which overflows, to lift us with him as he goes. The woods and brooks, as sheep and kine, he is the hills, the human line. The meadows green, the fallows brown, the dreams of labour in the town. He sings a sap the quickened veins, the wedding song of sun and rains. He is the dance of children, thanks of sowers, shout of primrose banks, and eye of violets while they breathe. All these the circling song will wreathe, and you shall hear the herb and tree, the better half of men shall see, shall feel celestially, as long as you crave nothing save the song. Was never voice of ours could say our inmost in the sweetest way, like yonder voice aloft, and link all hearers in the song they drink. Our wisdom speaks from failing blood, our passion is too full in flood. We want the key to his wild note, of truthful in a tuneful throat, the song seraphically free of taint of personality, so pure that it salutes the sun, the voice of one for millions, in whom the millions rejoice, forgiving their one spirit voice. Yet men have we whom we revere, now names and men still housing here, whose lives by many a battle dint, defaced and grinding wheels on flint, yield substance, though they sing not, sweet for song our highest heaven to greet, whom heavenly singing gives us new, and spheres them brilliant in our blue. From firmest base to farthest leap, because their love of earth is deep, and they are warriors in accord, with life to serve and pass reward, so touching purest and so heard in the brain's reflex of yon bird, wherefore their soul in me or mine through self-forgetfulness divine In them the song aloft maintains to fill the sky and thrill the plains, with showerings drawn from human stores as he to silence nearer soars, extends the world at wings and dome more spacious, making more our home, till lost on his aerial rings in light, and then the fancy sings.
Well, isn't that such an amazing poem and so elegant, and it just creates so many pictures when I'm listening to those words, and the great description of the bird and its song, which is what we're particularly interested in as well. Now we move on to the performance that we uh, made at St George's on the, when was it? I think the 7th of August. That's right, 7th of August. And then we decided to film this and create a little film for part of the celebration coming up now. So this is a performance that is a slightly different arrangement. It's for string sextet, so solo violin and 5 strings. And it's just what we felt we wanted to do was bring some imagery rather than just a video of a live performance and the players. We wanted to bring to life and bring some vision and bring some pictures, the way we felt that what the music was trying to say. So here is the performance that we gave at St George's in August, plus the additional beautiful pictures and video that was, again, this was all created, amazing enough, by Katrina, who you just saw reading the poem. So enjoy this. Well, I hope you really enjoyed that kind of visualization, visualization of the Lark Ascending interspersed with a actual performance. And as you can see, it was filmed at St George's, and really thank you very much to St George's for allowing us to use their wonderful venue and space outside and around. I thought now actually it was Emil playing the solo, and it'd be nice to have a little chat with him about that. I can't do it live, but I did record a little interview with him a little earlier. And well, Emil, welcome to the show today. Lovely to see you. Hope you're keeping well.
Yes, absolutely.
So I thought it would be really interesting just to talk about the making of the Lark Ascending film that we made back in August, or filmed in August. And it was part of the first live concert that we'd done for 5 months, I think.
Yes, a long time. Yeah, it was. I mean, what a weird time for everybody. And yeah, I just remember that when we started up that day playing with each other again, and you kind of just, it's quite a big moment. And you just realise, how much it means to us all to play music together, and the friendships that are built up around performing together.
I think that was one thing that took me by surprise after that big absence from the concert platform. It wasn't just the absence of playing music, it was the absence of playing music with friends and colleagues.
Yes, yeah.
Actually, spent a lot of hours on stage together, a lot of performances together, and coming back to that team, it was just a wonderful moment, wasn't it? A very emotional moment.
It was very emotional, yeah.
How did you feel playing the Lark Ascending? Because you had to perform that.
In a way, there's sort of quite a lot of optimism in the piece, I feel, and a kind of like gratitude for living, and a sort of love for nature and these kind of things, and it's kind of quite uplifting in a way.
And I think, funny enough, playing outdoors as well, although we were accompanied by a few electric drills. There was a bird song outside from the birds.
Yeah, that's right. There was, yeah.
And we were, it's a lovely setting there, in a garden and trees around. So the nature feel actually really drew the music out even more, I think, for me. Yeah. So we had to record it, and we did partial recording as well. We recorded it inside, didn't we? And then we went out onto the steps of St George's, the ones that lead down into Great George Street, and we placed ourselves in different levels and filmed it out there as well. And that was, tell us about
that. Was quite special, actually. That was, because people were obviously walking past, and then people sort of started stopping and listening, okay. And then eventually more and more people joined, and it was, after a while, it was quite a big number of people that were standing there, congregated. That was really, really special moment, actually. And
we also went out to the Malvern Hills, didn't we? Was it the next day or a couple of days later, I think?
It was, yeah.
Had a fantastic filming session out there. And again, a similar thing happened, I think, didn't it?
It was a similar thing, yeah. And there was this one, their mother and her son. They were, I think, near the end of our trip. And I was playing some Elgar, I think, and they stopped for quite a long time. And then they kind of, it looked like they went on their way. And then I kind of turned around, and the son was still sitting there, still listening to the music. So he was obviously enjoying it, which is lovely feeling.
They seem to be very moved by it. I remember them, saying sort of profusely, sort of, thank you so much. This has really been such an amazing experience. So that whole thing with music in nature and suddenly coming across it in unexpected ways is pretty amazing, isn't it? Yeah. And I suppose also Vaughan Williams used to walk around collecting these various folk songs. So he would have done a similar thing in some ways, sort of going on his walks, going to different villages or wherever to pick up these amazing tunes. Yeah. So it was it was kind of a neat little a connection there, and of course Murray Hall was also involved in Malvern as well. So there was
Right.
a really lovely connection there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
What do you think about the folk influence, if you like, of music of the Lark Ascending?
Lark. There's definitely quite a strong folk element, isn't there? And there's I think in the you hear it firstly in the opening cadenza, it kind of when it goes right to the top and suddenly introduces this sort of slightly kind of wistful melody. I mean, there must be a folk song he's found somewhere, and then he kind of uses that as a main theme in the piece afterwards. So I think the folk influence it kind of brings a slightly melancholic feeling to the piece in a way, kind of wishing for better times maybe, or that kind of thing. I think that
there's another lovely melody, isn't there, in the middle after the second of the cadenzas. He introduces sort of slightly more jolly.
Yeah, that's some more. Yes, that kind of is more depicting the village, the people, the kind of joyous times. He mentions in the poem children dancing. These kind of things, joyful moments.
That definitely feels quite a sort of village dance feel to it. You can imagine the sort of one of these village greens and maybe the Morris dancers out there or something.
Definitely.
I think it's a lovely moment in the piece, that it's sort of it's such a warm moment. It's sort of got a strong vision of warmness and happiness about it, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, that's really fascinating talking about the piece with you. And do you have any particular affinity with it yourself, or is it in a way just another violin piece?
To be honest, I know it from listening to it mostly. I haven't played it a huge amount before, so it's lovely to actually be able to play it finally.
Did you look into the song of the Lark at all?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tell us what you felt about the connection.
The connection. Yeah. I mean, listening to the Lark song, it's quite an unusual song actually. Quite complex, quite unpredictable, and quite busy. And
listening to when I've listened to it a little bit, I feel there's sudden bursts of bird song, isn't it? Birds of chatter, if you like, bursts of chatter.
Chattering,
and then it goes a bit stiller, and then suddenly a burst of chatter again. So it's fascinating to listen to, and I think some people have slowed it down to try and then build a piece around the slowed down version of the Lark song. Yeah. But I think it's always worth having a listen, isn't it, when you've got a piece so connected to the bird song itself, that you have to have some knowledge of that as well before you sort of make your interpretation.
I think so. Definitely, it definitely helps to understand the music.
Yeah. And the other thing I was thinking about was the poem, which we have shown today as well, and that poem served as the inspiration for the Lark Ascending by Vaughan Williams, and he used that as his inspiration. But it's not quite as shall I say, he doesn't tie it into the music as closely as, say, something like the Four Seasons, where Vivaldi wrote his sonnets, and each line of that sonnet is depicted by a particular bit of music very closely. It's very obvious, and he writes it above on the score where that is. Vaughan Williams just gives us a few lines of the poem at the beginning and then leaves it to one's imagination.
Yeah, I think certain lines in the poem are obviously very particularly important. They kind of set the scene for the whole work in a way.
That's right.
Yeah, and then together with other elements, like the bird song, or, there's the kind of various different influences, aren't there? And the folk element, obviously, kind of culminates together there.
The performance is, I think it's just a lovely. I mean, it's a slightly different one because the arrangement isn't the original one, and it's a newer, more modern arrangement just for strings. But I think it actually works incredibly well.
I think it does.
So, I was very surprised how well it worked, and I wasn't missing necessarily all the other instruments in there. Well, thank you so much for taking time today to talk to us about this, and I wish you luck with everything, and we hope we all get a really good Christmas as well.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Thanks so much, Emil.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was lovely talking to Emil about the memories of making that video, and also just a little bit about the Lark Ascending from his own perspective. It'd be really nice to get some feedback from you, actually, if you can spare a little moment to write us a message, whether you like this format. We were just sort of playing around with the thought of whether people, want to just see live performances, or whether they'd like something a little bit more visualized, a little bit more work gone into it. And so anything like that, feedback would be really gratefully received. A few little notices before we sign off for today. Next 2 Sundays, that's the 6th and the 13th, we have follow-up events leading up to the final event, on Lark Ascending event on the 15th. So on the 6th of December, we've got Andrew Green, the presenter, and he's researched huge amounts into Lark Ascending and also into different aspects of it. So we're looking a little bit round the sides of it, if you like, and going a little bit underneath, but going a bit over. And he's got a lovely interview with Jennifer Pike, who will be our soloist on the 15th of December. And he's got interviews with various specialists, somebody who's slowed down the lark song, and sort of you can really hear the individual notes. And then we've got somebody talking about nature and the lark's position in nature. And then we've got poems, and we've got other composers as well, some clips of other musical composers who've been inspired by the lark. So it's going to be an absolute cracker of an hour, that will be, I think, with Andrew Green. He's a wonderful presenter, and it'd be really fascinating listening to him talking to all these different people and different aspects of the skylark. Then we have a wonderful half an hour with Jonathan James on the 13th, which is a real insight into the music itself, and Jonathan will be really taking us through the music bar, well, not quite bar by bar, but looking at the harmonies, looking at where the inspirations are, looking at different folk music inspiration, if you like, and the sound of the bird and everything. So that will be a really, really worthwhile half an hour spent listening to that, because I think it will very much enrich one's listening of that piece for the future. And then on Tuesday, the 15th, I think this one's going out at 7:30. This is the big day. So that will be the centenary. So we'll all look forward to seeing you there. Do put that in your diary and pass that around. And that will be coming direct from Shirehampton Public Hall. So we are really going there. We're really doing it. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Stay safe, keep well, and we'll see you very soon. Bye. Bye for now. I don't know, it's awful.